Hey, check that out. You're listening to the Bench Podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Benched. I am Joey. This is Angel. Episode 232 for you here today. It is mock draft day, baby.
Mock draft day, Joey. How many mock drafts have you done in the last month, including this?
I am at the point. Including this point. I don't have a count. I don't have a precise count because I am in the season of drafting where I'm doing it every time I have a free second. If I have, okay. God.
Yeah,
if I'm taking a long poop, I'm doing a mock draft. If I'm at a red light, I'm doing a mock draft.
Yeah.
If I'm putting my kids to sleep, I'm doing a mock draft. If my wife isn't ready for dinner yet and I'm sitting at the table waiting for her to finish up, I'm doing a mock draft. At all times, I'm trying to bust out a mock draft.
Yeah, literally, I was at like Chipotle the other day, and you know how there's a long line? I was in line doing a mock draft, but doing only even teams just to switch it up. Just like only even teams. Like, let me just see what the computer says back. I'll do even teams just to make sure. But yeah, I love this time of year.
Just to keep it fresh. Yeah, it's a great time of year. The draft is today's April 2nd, so the draft is 22 days away. If you are not going to be in Green Bay for the draft, because it's one of the most underrated events in sports. Like, we're both there, right?
Yeah, legitimately one of the best experiences I've had. I've been to real games, real NFL games, and it's very comparable to a real NFL game. Just a different energy. Like, every team's there. The vibes are high because, like, it's just a day of hope. Like, everyone has hope that day. Like, that never happens in football. So, like, everything's represented. Yeah. You have the commissioner, the prospects, all these things in your head going. Yeah, I love going to the draft.
I think my top 3 sports moments live are going to be. I was at Game 7 with the Dodgers lost to the Astros, but still, that pregame was.
But they were cheating. But they cheated.
Right.
But they cheated.
The NFL draft in Philly. That was wild. Incredible. Third one's probably going to be. I went to a Dodger game at the Coliseum where they play the Red Sox. Big Papi, Manny Ramirez.
That was like 2000. 10?
That was a long time ago now. But anyway, the draft is very close now. Excited. If you're not going to be there in Green Bay celebrating in person, celebrate with us on April 24th. We are going to be doing our second live stream show, draft live stream show. Have the information here on the screen right now. Join us for a little bit of everything. We'll be reacting to all the picks, all the surprises, all the trades. So much going on draft night. We're going to have a special guest. So far, we have Big Smitty booked from JB and the Big Smitty show. He's been on the show before. Excited to have him back. He'll be just giving his 2 cents about the draft, because at the end of the day, the draft humbles you, because at the end of the day, man, we don't know what these GMs are thinking. We don't know what these teams are thinking, what kind of games they've been playing for the last couple of months. We're starting to hear now just little rumors about different players. The Shedeur stuff's been going on for a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, Omarion, what's his name?
Hampton
isn't a 3-down back anymore. All sorts of stuff being fed to the media to kind of manipulate the draft.
Yeah, today's rumor was that the Browns nor the Giants are looking at drafting a quarterback at
exactly. Yeah, so we don't know what's gonna. Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen. So make sure you join us that night to react to all of it. The whole team will be here in the studio. It'll be a lot of fun. We streamed last year for 6 hours or so and had a great time doing it. And we'll be on again as well. Watch us in conjunction with the draft. It's fun to have the draft on and us just kind of hang out with us as we're enjoying football things, because that's what we do here. April 24th, put your reminders on. And then we're going to be on different platforms this year. We'll be on Instagram. We'll be on Twitch. We'll be on YouTube. And I thought there was one more.
We're trying for TikTok.
Maybe
trying to figure it out.
A couple times on TikTok, yeah. TikTok's just not. Oh, Twitter.
Duh.
Yeah.
I would
be on X.
Yeah.
So make sure you're hanging out with us that day for the NFL draft. Like we said, today is draft day, and let's get into it. All right, it is mock draft season. Mock draft season on this show is brought to you by BETR Picks. Right now, if you use our code, our link, BENCHD, when you sign up with BETR Picks, you'll get your first entry matched up to $250 and a free pick. 28 states and counting. available to play. It's simple, more or less picks. You can stack them. You can take one or two. You can try to multiply it by, I think, by like thousands and win a whole bunch of money. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out. Better picks and support the show as you're doing it. Okay, let's get into this mock draft now. We're going to be using PFF to host this mock draft. Me and Angel will be making alternating picks. I am odds, you're evens. Is that how we're doing this?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to get started. Since I am odds, I have the number one overall pick. And with the first pick in the draft, I'm going to select quarterback Cam Ward out of Miami. It seems to be the consensus here that Cam Ward will be the number one quarterback taken, the number one overall pick taken. No more Abdul Carter rumors, really. No Travis Hunter rumors. Haven't heard those in a while now as far as being number one overall. It's going to be Cam Ward, and it should be Cam Ward. You have a chance at a franchise quarterback, the number one overall pick. And this year, it ended up being very valuable because unless everyone's lying to us, Shedeur isn't the can't miss prospect that we usually get number two. Because usually it's like if you have a couple quarterbacks and quarterback needy teams, it's like, okay, well, this guy's taken, then obviously this guy will take in. There's a lot of mystery at number two. We'll get to that in a second. But Cam Ward to Tennessee, I think it's a great fit. I think it's a great place for him to land. How do you feel about that part of it, Angel? Him landing in Tennessee as far as the start to his professional career.
Yeah, you would like a little bit more pass catchers. They only have Calvin Ridley, and Chig isn't really like a true pass catching tight end. He's kind of a versatile tight end, but yeah, it's a good spot. They have two good running backs, so obviously a running game helps out every single quarterback, and the offensive line has improved the last 2 years. So yeah, it's a when you're picking this high, you can beggars can't be choosers. Like these teams are bad for like a reason, but this is a decent spot for a quarterback one to go into. Next year, maybe you address the wideout 1 or wideout 2 even, and then. But as of like for like a starting point, this is not a bad spot.
Let's go to the number 2 overall pick, and you got it.
Yeah, number 2, Cleveland. Yeah, it's weird that the rumors like I don't understand. Maybe for you're trying to maybe get that number 2 trade package to be even bigger if you want to come up for like Shedeur Sanders, and then there's all these mock drafts. They have the Cleveland Browns not picking a quarterback. I just don't understand why they wouldn't pick a quarterback. Like, I don't understand what would stop them. Like, you're not going to have Watson next year. James Winston's gone. You traded Dorian Thompson Robinson. You have Kenny Pickett, but that's not the answer. He's a backup. We saw last year. So I'm taking Shedeur Sanders, and I'm not even questioning. I'm taking Shedeur and put him in there. Him and Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski's offense just needs a guy who can manage the game mentally. And that's what Shedeur Sanders is. He's a pocket passer who will diagnose and pick you apart from the pocket. The offensive line, you add Tevin Jenkins, so you're a little younger, but you're still kind of oldish, but you're still fine. And you still have Jerry Jeudy. You just have David Njoku. So you're fine as far as weapons. Decent spot for him, and bring back some life to Cleveland. Last year, besides James Winston, it was pretty bleak in Cleveland Browns fans.
As far as like number 1 and 2 overall picks going to places to start their career, Tennessee and Cleveland aren't bad. Like decent O-lines, decent weapons. Like you think of some of the places that either they could have landed this year or like last year. You think of C.J. Stroud going to the Texans. There was nothing there, no line at that point. We didn't know who Nico Collins was. Like these are decent landing spots.
Yeah, or even like 3 like New York Giants, very shaky O-line, only have one good weapon really, and a bunch of okay running backs. That's a bad spot. Cleveland and Tennessee at least have the makings of a good to decent O-line, which is just that's 101. Look, ask CJ Stroud how valuable a good offensive line is, or ask Joe Burrow if he'd want a good offensive line. Starting this early with a good offensive line is it's an underrated like factor. So yeah, this is a decent spot.
And as far as like number 1 options, I mean, it gets much worse than Jerry Jeudy and Calvin Ridley. Like they're, like that obviously aren't, they're never going to lead the league in receiving or anything like that. But they're 2 very capable receivers who can give you kind of what Courtland Sutton did last year for Bo Nix. Like, not a true star receiver, but just a good veteran receiver.
Yeah, just someone that you can rely on. And then Cleveland here with Shedeur Sanders, that running game is always going to be good no matter who's back there. I know Chubb's gone, but still. Then you have like Njoku, who last year shined a lot, who actually proved that he's still a good athlete. So yeah, Shedeur here. I think Shedor's gonna have probably pretty similar, if not better, numbers than Cam Ward, just because I trust the system and the weapons a little bit more. Tennessee's.
All right, let's move on here. And I don't think I've gotten any more hate for any pick that I've made than I have for this third pick with the Giants. I think people want Abdul Carter, they want Travis Hunter, and it very well might be those guys. But when you look at how they've built this roster, they've brought in receivers, they've brought in defensive secondary, so it doesn't seem like they're leaving a space for Travis Hunter. They have Brian Burns that they paid up for last year, then they paid him. They have Kayvon Thibodeau, who is still a question mark, but they have other talent on the defensive line as well. It could be Abdul Carter here, but I think the biggest thing on this team has been, besides quarterback for the last couple of years, has been offensive line. They've been terrible for years now. With Andrew Thomas gone last year, they're terrible again. I think getting Andrew Thomas back this year, you draft Will Campbell, the tackle out of LSU, short arms be damned, and you put him there at a right tackle. Or if it doesn't work out, he's a all-pro type guard. Like he's I just think we are blowing the arms thing out of proportion. It's one of those combine things that people do. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a great tackle. He played tackle at LSU. He was an absolute dog, and I think he's going to be fine in the NFL. And I think you get him and Andrew Thomas. And listen, you have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston back there. Older quarterbacks, not terribly mobile anymore. You need to protect those guys. And I think if you can fix the offensive line, they are veteran quarterbacks who have shown they still have something left in this league. You have Malik Neighbors and a couple other weapons. You can maybe do something on offense, but nothing's happening without fixing that offensive line.
Yeah.
Are you as upset here by me passing on some of those top tier guys?
I mean, it's hard for me to pick Campbell over Abdul Carter, but sometimes when you're a desperate team, you need to the desperation of this team might be Abdul Carter because they need to win right now. For Joe Shane and Brian Dable to keep their jobs. But this is what Will Campbell should be their pick. The offensive line has been bad for a long time. Last year you signed John Runyon, who's been nice. Yeah, put Will Campbell anywhere, right guard, right tackle. But just make your line better. So your veteran quarterbacks have a chance to get to Neighbors, to Warner Robinson. You have decent weapons. So yeah, they're in a tough spot because it'd be hard for me to choose the unsexy pick as a lineman, to not pick Travis Hunter, Heisman winner, or Abdul Carter, like the pass rusher. So, but yeah, it's a nice pick though.
I think last year, like when Harbaugh when you're in that spot where there's some good position players available. Last year, Harbaugh sitting there. You have Roma Dunze sitting there, and you have all the Jared Verse was still sitting there at that point. So guys like that, and he goes and takes Joe Alt, doesn't blink. I don't think he regrets that. It wasn't a sexy pick, but it was just the right pick. Just to give you an example of why people are upset, I do understand. Let's take a look real quick at this is David Adams' big board that he has on benchshow.com. And this is why people are upset, because if you look at this big board, here's Abdul Carter in this elite of elite tier one that David Adams put him in. And then all the way down here in potential stars, you have Will Campbell. Questions about arm length, obviously that's the biggest one, but that's the only negative about him. And this is why people are mad, because of this gap between Abdul Carter and Will Campbell. But man, I think tackles are so important in this league, and I think it's a chance to lock it down, a position they haven't had right in years.
Yeah, this is a nice pick. All right, let's move on here. Patriots at 4. This would be Membou sitting there, and I would love to pick Membou, but I cannot pass Abdul Carter, pairing him with Mike Vrabel, pairing him with his revamped Patriots defense. Man, Membou's tempting, but there's no way Vrabel and his staff or a prospect like Abdul Carter pass them up. So Abdul Carter comes in, that defense becomes very, very good because Harold Landry is obviously a better Robin than he is Batman as far as pass rush. You have Milton Williams, you have Christian Barrymore in the interior, so you're building like a very good defensive line. And then if you think Abdul Carter is the next Micah Parsons, and you just added Parsons to this already good defensive line, and then you already have a guy to go after Josh Allen, a guy to go after Tua. Abdul Carter here are running in the best prospect, second best prospect in this draft, pure pass rusher. And I've heard big names in the industry say he's like scratching the surface of what he actually can do. Because last year was his first true year as a linebacker, and he became one of the best in like in like college football. So this is a great pick.
So Mike Vrabel has battled in the AFC before with all those Tennessee Titan teams. And the problem back then is the same problem now. That's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs have been exposed. There's a chink in the armor. They are unable to protect Patrick Mahomes at the moment. You got to imagine Mike Vrabel, yes, he's thinking of the Bills. Yes, he's thinking of the Jets and Aaron Glenn and what they're doing over there, maybe in the Dolphins. You got to imagine Mike Vrabel is thinking, I know this conference. It is all about, can you beat the Chiefs in the playoffs? I just saw I need to get to Patrick Mahomes for that. So bringing in Abdul Carter to this defensive line with what they've done in the secondary, and even at the second level, even though Bentley was kind of a surprise release for me, I thought he'd be a nice fit there, but I trust Vrabel. I think this is a slam dunk pick. If you're not going to get, because he's just not there, I think Tet McMillan's just not that type of prospect where you take him number 4 overall. If you're not going to get that kind of guy, and it's not going to be Travis Hunter, I'd probably Travis Hunter's a tough one, but man, Abdul Carter here. A lot of people think he might be the best talent in the draft. Let's look at the big board that David Adams has for us here, and he has Abdul Carter under Travis Hunter. But I've seen that flipped. I mean, the same rate, the same ranking now.
Yeah. These are both blue chip prospects. The only thing that I'm starting, the only thing like you're trying to like they're both A+ prospects, but like Abdul Carter is like a one side of the ball guy. You could see him. You can like manage his snaps. Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter scares me a little bit, like 0.001, because he plays both sides. That would worry me a little bit just because of the longevity. But Abdul Carter here, they're both A+. I think either one would be great. But Abdul Carter here with Vrabel, that already improved defense. Oh man, I cannot wait for the Patriots defense next year.
The Jaguars on the clock, and with the 5th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter, wide receiver, cornerback out of Colorado. Travis Hunter on the Jaguars is my favorite fit in the top 5. I think if he goes to the Jaguars, I've said it before, he can. It's the one place where he can truly win Rookie of the Year, win all those crazy things that are there, like win offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year, like those kind of things. That could happen in Jacksonville because he'll have the opportunity to do like Quinyon Mitchell did last year and be on the opposite of a very good cornerback, and then he'll have the opportunity to be on the other side of a very good wide receiver and have those opportunities too. You got to imagine just the story that he is, just the narrative, it being obviously a big narrative award. If he just makes splashes on both sides consistently, he's going to win, I think, both of those awards. And, I think it's just the place for him to do it.
Yeah. And then, like, if you go there, obviously, Brian Thomas Jr., pair him with Travis Hunter. That's a great one, too. And Travis Hunter will never get the number 1 corner. So that's a plus. Like, it's gonna go to Brian Thomas Jr. Then on defense, you have the opportunity to play as much as you want. They signed Jordan Lewis and they still have Tyson Campbell, but they're still CB1 away from being a respectable defense. So slam dunk pick. They're gifted Travis Hunter. He's prayed to God that they don't ruin him the way they've ruined other first round picks in the last 10 years. But and then you start building that defense. Josh Allen, Hines, right? You have Travis Walker. You have those linebackers still. Then Trayvon Walker, whatever the hell his name is. Trayvon Walker. And then you have Devin Lloyd, obviously. And then you start building that secondary up a little bit. That's it. You're starting to build something, in that AFC South that's not very hard to win. So, this is a nice pick. And he gets a blue chip player for the team that doesn't have a lot of those guys.
Not to mention, Liam Cohen knows how to use 2 wide receivers and make them both really, really productive. Let's move ahead here. You got the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders GM kind of showed his hand. He went on a podcast or something and told them if his son would disown him or something like that, if they didn't pick Ashton Jeanty. And it just makes sense. The Raiders and Pete Carroll specifically like to run the ball and run the ball a lot. As Geno Smith is coming from an offense where he is best when he's a play-action quarterback. So you get the best running back in this draft, Ashton Jeanty, at number 6 overall. You run it in and you say, we have the best running back with a good offensive line. Let's just start to run the ball and develop an offensive identity. Ashton Jeanty is one of those He just rises up in the boards because he just kind of can do everything. I don't really care that he played in Boise State because he still was productive. You can still see all the traits that you want: contact balance, speed, breakaway speed, all that. He's one of those guys we just draft him. Like, don't overthink it. Just draft the best guy available. You had a horrendous run game last year. Jeanty goes in there, changes the whole offense. Yeah, Pete Carroll will be smiling big if Jeanty falls to him here.
I think Pete Carroll has to look at Ashton Jeanty and think this might be another shot at Marshawn Lynch. He's that kind of guy where, he has the breakaway speed and all that, but just that otherworldly strength, that otherworldly balance, just the ability to make grown men at their full strength look like he's just toying with them. He's just that kind of player. And obviously the production's off, through the roof. I think in college, after contact, he still would have been the number one running back in the nation. No, he only counted his stats after contact.
Yeah, like the top 2 running backs last year in college football were Ashton Jeanty, then Ashton Jeanty after contact. Like, that's incredible.
It's insane.
Like, that's incredible.
Insane. I love Ashton Jeanty here. Good for Raiders fans. I've come around to this pick too. I thought, you'll pick a running back here, you punt, and you pick one of these other guys. Maybe even Tetairoa McMillan might be better for whoever for Geno Smith down there. But this is Pete Carroll, the guy who drafted Zach Charbonnet a year after drafting Kenneth Walker just for the hell of it.
Yeah, he likes to run the ball.
He likes to collect these running backs.
And this is a deep running class. Maybe he'll draft 2 in this draft. You don't know. Pete Carroll's an animal.
Could you imagine his first 2 picks as the Raiders?
Him and Scadaboo together would be fantastic. You start to build a good running back room back there. You start to that's Pete Carroll just knows how to. He knows what he wants. That's a good running back and a good running game. Yeah.
The Jets here at number 7. And as I make this Jet pick, I am looking straight at tackle here. Armand Membou at number 7 to New York. I'm making the pick because when you went and signed Justin Fields to that contract, I understand it's not a franchise quarterback contract, but you obviously made a play there at Justin Fields aggressively. You basically outbid the Steelers where they weren't going to match you, and you brought him in. You have these running backs now in a press conference recently at the coaches meetings. You had it was either Aaron Glenn or the offensive coordinator saying that they're going to use all 3 of these running backs and just lean into just a overwhelming running game. You need offensive linemen to do that. Aaron Glenn knows that. He's from Detroit. We've seen Ben Johnson do this. I think now we see Aaron Glenn do this. He has the running backs. Not great news if you're a Breece Hall owner in fantasy football, but
no, a little bit
for the Jets. I mean, you have 3 amazing backs in Justin Fields, Braylon Allen, and Breece Hall, and I think you start to beef up that offensive line. And really, because it's been a problem the last couple of years, they've thrown so many assets at it. It's starting to become kind of a strength here with Armand Membou and Elijah Vera Tucker, and
Fashanu?
Fashanu, yeah, I was going to get him and Fuaga mixed up. Fashanu, I mean, and then the center, the guy I love.
Not Schwartz.
Joe
Tippmann. Joe Tippmann, yeah. Joe Tippmann's a great center.
I love those guys. Yeah. So I think this is the move here for the Jets, and I think Aaron Glenn jumps at the opportunity to beef up an offensive line. You have the Panthers. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was toying around with Mason Graham just because him next to Derrick Brown would be fantastic as far as a pairing. Yeah. AFC in that NFC South where the offensive lines are the greatest. I would like Mason Graham here, but T-Mac just sitting there, and I'm not gonna pass him up. The ability to pair him with Thielen, with year 2 Xavier Legette is just too much to pass up. Mason Graham is 1B, but Tet here, you just drive yourself a 6'5" physical freak. He does something different as far as Thielen and Legette do different things. He does something completely different down the ball, stretch the field. So yeah, easy pick and help Bryce Young capitalize on this year 2 bounce back.
Yeah, I think this is the pick. I think this is what you do for Bryce Young. You get him that weapon now. He still has Grandpa Adam Thielen in the house, who still can play when he's healthy. Xavier Legette, who I think Canales just came out and said we believe in his abilities to still be a number 1 type receiver. I mean, remains to be seen, but they've seen crazier turnarounds in Carolina recently.
Yeah, and they were also in on DK Metcalf, so you know that they're still looking for a wideout. Yeah. And if this guy falls to you, the best wideout besides Travis Hunter, you take him and you just said, okay, job done. Let's go home now.
since we're talking about him, any concern about the video that came out of him being secretly filmed, by the way, which kind of sucks, about him talking about he doesn't watch film because he doesn't need to because they do it do it together in the classroom anyway.
Well, yeah, some guys take it. Some guys just do stuff differently. I don't mind this at all. Like some guys watch film in house and they go home and don't take it with them, and they're still great. Like there's it's just he's been a good wideout while doing his way of doing it like that. So I don't mind this. They're all different. They're all maybe he has great memory. He just knows the playbook so well. So yeah, I don't mind this at all.
With the number 9 overall pick, the New Orleans Saints have a decision to make here, and I think if you've listened to them recently in interviews and just kind of just when it seems like they're taking a step back and starting to look at maybe the next version of this team. I think Jackson Dart could go here. I really do. I think Jackson Dart could go number 9 to the Saints.
Wow.
But I think my pick today, at least, is Mason Graham. Because Mason Graham is the best player that no one's talking about in this draft because he's a defensive tackle. He's a white defensive tackle, and it's just not fun to talk about him. But look at this big board. You have the elite of the elite, only 2 guys in that category. But the next guy on David's big board is Mason Graham. He's that kind of prospect. He's that kind of defensive tackle. I think he'll make that kind of impact. You look at Brandon Fisk and what those young linemen have done in LA with the Rams. I take Mason Graham here to the Saints, and I think you got one of the top 5 overall talents at number 9, and you should be ecstatic.
Yeah, they have a lot of holes. I wouldn't mind Jahdae Barron here, but yeah, Mason Graham. Sometimes you just take the best available, and you're just happy with it. And they have a lot of holes on that team. They're getting a little older, so him and Brian Brzee in that middle, 2 white defensive tackles, some exciting whites, if you will.
Whites are on one.
Yeah, whites are. Hey,
whites are making a comeback.
That all white team is starting to stack up a little bit. You know, Cooper DeJean last year added to that, and then now Mason Graham. We'll see. Yes, I have the Bears here. So they went hard on offensive line, so I'm not touching that. Defensive line, they got a bunch of guys who are older, like Garrett shouldn't be your answer for the next 3 years. Should be answer for this year at least. So I could go D-line here. I want to pick my guy. You know who my guy is? From Michigan, Grant. But no, I'm gonna pick. It's gonna be like it's between the pass rushers, Mike Green. Can you go to the pass rushers real quick? It's between the pass rushers, Mike Green, or oh man, what's his name? James Pearce Jr. It's just about which kind of defensive ends you like, what you're looking for as far as like Mykel Williams is the 6'5", 265 physical freak. Mike Green and James Pearce more the 245 to 240 pass rusher-ish. But I think at this point, you're just taking the best available. So I think I would take like a Mykel Williams here, the big physical defensive end out of Georgia. Pair him with Montez Sweat, another big physical defensive end. So again, just beef up that defensive line that's already been beefed up. I think this is a nice pick for them. Running back is a choice, but if Jeanty was here. Right. I'm not picking Omarion Hampton at 10. I think you can get this. There's a lot of depth in this draft class. I would save that. Keep beefing up that defensive line. By the way, that defense last year, the lead sack artist was Montez Sweat with 5 sacks. So you need to obviously get a pass rush. So Mykel Williams, put him next to Sweat, get a big physical front to help out, that Bears defense.
I mean, you talk about these Lions coaches trying to do what they saw Dan Campbell do and those guys in Detroit. And one thing that the Lions really haven't got to or they've been chasing is a dominant defensive line. And I think this is an opportunity to scratch that itch. I like Mykel Williams as a prospect. I think he looks the part. I think he's you plug him in and he has an opportunity to be like one of the best pass rushers in the league. Like I'm talking Aiden Hutchinson type, that kind of guy. And I think you put him
Georgia boys doing well, man.
Yeah, they just translate well. I like the pick here. Let's go over the top 10 real quick before we move on because we're going to go a little quicker through the rest. At number 1, we have Cam Ward going. No surprise there. Pretty much every mock draft you'll see, unless they're trying to be different, we'll have Cam Ward there. Draft does start at 2, though. I think Shedeur definitely should be favored to go there, but I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my seat because I think anything can happen there with Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter kind of lurking. Will Campbell is number 3 pick. It's obviously boring, but I think just if you want to be a responsible grown-up organization, you got to just take guys who are going to be good for 10 years, and just build that offensive line, which it's been a problem for 10 years. Abdul Carter goes to number 4 to the Patriots. Just continues to build a monster defense for Mike Vrabel. Travis Hunter, the two-way star, gets to flex those muscles in Jacksonville with new coach Liam Cohen.
Duval.
Ashton Jeanty goes to be the new Marshawn Lynch for Pete Carroll and the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm starting to really like that now. Pete Carroll and the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's like the sexiest pick besides Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Armand Membou goes to the Jets. All of a sudden, they have a great offensive line. Tetairoa McMillan goes to be the wide receiver 1 in Carolina. Mason Graham falls all the way down to number 9, and the Saints grab him there. Mykel Williams, the big physical stud from Georgia, pass rusher, goes to the Bears, who are, you got to imagine, have Super Bowl aspirations this year. So to get someone like Mykel Williams at number 10, maybe that's the same kind of impact that Jalen Carter had for the Eagles, getting them that late in the draft as well. Mykel Williams to the Bears there. What I'm going to do now, Angel, is as you announce, I'm up right now. I'm going to go Jahdae Barron here for the 49ers. Can you talk about his fit as I threw up the next 5 picks for us here?
Oh, yeah. Jahdae Barron. Yeah, Niners definitely have a type, like the uber aggressive to the ball, like defensive players. You think of Greenlaw, you think of like a Funga, obviously Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. These guys who are just like love going 100%, 110 miles per hour to the ball, and Jahdae Barron does that. And he obviously they lost Ward, obviously left for Indianapolis, so a need here. Pair him with Lenore. I think that's a solid one too. And they have a lot of holes. You can go offensive line here. You can go linebacker here even, or maybe even edge rusher. But you start to get best available, start building that defense up with first round talent. It'll take a couple years, hopefully not too many years. But it's a nice fit.
So 11 through 15 are as follows. I got Jahdae Barron going to the 49ers. Angel picked Josh Simmons, the tackle, going to the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to talk about all these. Malachi Starks goes to replace Javon Holland in Miami for the Dolphins. Tyler Warren is the most obvious Indianapolis Colt I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
and he goes to be Dallas Clark. They finally replace him. And then at 15, Mike Green, the pass rusher to the Falcons. They obviously desperately need pass rush. I think Mike Green would be a slam dunk there. Any particular one you want to start with? You want to just start with number 12 there with Josh Simmons?
Yeah, Simmons. Yeah, you would think wide out, but Jerry Jones, for all his faults, at least he knows how to draft good to elite to all pro Hall of Fame lineman. He just went pretty well. And Josh Simmons, his medical checked out. I think he falls in with the ability to play kind of multiple spots, kind of just find the right spot for him. So I think it's an easy pick.
Yeah, I like Josh Simmons there. I think that's what the Cowboys are known for being good at. Get back to what you're good at, because now you're forgetting the names of some of the best agents in the league. In the weird negotiation tactics with Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons, true to form, has already taken to social media with negotiations. It should be a hell of a negotiation there. Pick your young lineman. I like so far the guys they have with Guyton and Tyler Smith. And who am I missing?
Well, they have Steele at right tackle, but he can be replaced. If Simmons is better than him, then Simmons will play. So
Simmons also with some positional
versatility.
What we're looking for? Versatility here. Has played guard before. Has even played center before. And so you get him in the building and just let him go. Next, we have
Starks is more of just a plug and play. Yeah, that's just easy. That's honestly, don't overthink it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You lost him on Holland. Malachi Starks the stud.
Yeah. Tyler Warren just instantly. I think every mock draft has Tyler Warren going to the Colts. It just fits.
Yeah, they always have like a million tight ends there. They obviously love them.
But none are good.
Tyler Warren's different. Yeah. Tyler Warren's different. I think he's an absolute waste if Anthony Richardson's the quarterback, because I don't know how well he'll be used. But he'll be a great blocker. But if who they signed there? Dalton?
No, they signed Daniel Jones to the backup.
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones will be the starter. Like, he's going to be the starter because
eventually.
Anthony Richardson's going to make more mistakes.
And this is more of a for the future, because last year you drafted Josh Downs, and then a couple years ago, Alec Pierce. Pass catching room. Oh, sorry. Last year too, Adonai Mitchell. So like you start adding, wide receivers, and you add tight ends. So even if none of these guys on the roster is the future, at least you have a good set of weapons for whoever the quarterback is next year, or a veteran, or whoever they want to do next year. So yeah,
it's becoming one of those places where you're just like, oh, they could just figure out a quarterback. Like, they have the weapons. Like, they have
good old line.
Not to mention
Jonathan Taylor.
Still have Jonathan Taylor back there. Yeah. Let's move on to Mike Green at 15 to Marshall. I think that was your pick.
Yeah. Plug and play, easy. I mean, they need pass rusher. So you go get the best one available. Between him and James Pearce, whatever you like, it's just dealer's choice. I think they need an edge rusher in the worst way.
At number 16, we have the Cardinals taking Jalon Walker, the smallish linebacker / edge rusher out of Georgia. Any concerns about, what is he, 220 some pounds?
No, he's a little bigger than that still. I think if you click his name quick, I think you get a measurement. But yeah, he's inside out. He can give you pass rush ability. He give you he has some instincts of a inside linebacker. So I don't mind him here. I think the Cardinals will need some talent in that front seven. So yeah.
If you look here at David Adams' big board, he's in tier 3, right below Will Campbell and above Tyler Warren. Jalon Walker. He was very productive, and the tape is great. And obviously he's an amazing athlete. It's literally just the size. Can he make it work at that size? And is that going to translate? To me, I think that's a pretty big deal to me, but we'll see how that goes. Jalon Walker there. Bengals at number 17. We'll take Will Johnson. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that defense has got tore up last year, so start getting a quarterback that maybe can help some of that bleeding. They want to throw the ball 80 times there, which means that there'll be a lot of high scoring games. If they don't get Trey Henderson signed, maybe this is a D end, but I think they'll get it done, or something will happen. That's in case they just get it done with Trey Henderson. Get Will Johnson there. Hurt last year, hurt during the draft process, but I think when he's on the field, he's a game changer. So draft him and just don't think about it. Just start building a defense that got tore apart last year, left and right.
As we look at the next 5 here, we'll go through them. But we mentioned Jalon Walker to the Cardinals, Will Johnson, who obviously had that insane fall from like a top 5 pick. Here he is, still in the first round, but kind of a mid-first rounder. Lottery pick, to borrow a term from the NBA. Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama, going to the Seahawks. Jihaad Campbell, the heir apparent to, I was going to say Devin White. It's not Devin White. It's,
Lavonte David.
The other one. Lavonte David, yeah. The heir apparent to Lavonte David in his last year, most likely. And then Omarion Hampton to the Denver Broncos. Let's start with Tyler Booker. I think that was your pick.
Yeah, easy fit. They need a guard for a while, and Booker's just sitting there. Might be too high for a guard for some people, but I think we've seen guards come in year one and make an instant impact. And this guy, and obviously they've had a serious need for interior linemen. So it's boring, but it's like a mature pick.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. It's obviously a need. You see the needs there listed as far as PFF, and it's center guard. Right up top there. So interior offensive line can halt your whole offense. You always hear, like, pressure up the middle can stop an offense. And then if you pressure Sam Darnold up the middle, you can really stop an offense. Just ask the Vikings about that one. And so, I have no problem here taking the guard at pick number 18. If you think that's a reach, like, then I don't know where you value offensive line, but it seems like around the league, offensive linemen are being valued like they haven't in recent years. So fine here with Tyler Booker. Jihaad Campbell to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 19 is one of my favorite picks so far in any mock draft I've done. I have him going here a lot. I think he's a great fit. I think the chance to learn from Lavonte David and just the legacy of great linebackers they have there in Tampa Bay all the way back to Derrick Brooks. I think Jihaad Campbell is a missile there at linebacker. I think he's a new age linebacker. I think you're going to see a lot of pass rushing from him. He has leadership. He kind of helped Alabama in that transition from Nick Saban into a new regime. I love Jihaad Campbell here to the Bucks. Do you love it as much as I do, or
Yeah, yeah.
am
That defense
am I overboard with that?
No, that defense wasn't really good last year. I think you get the best defensive player available. Pierce might tempt you here, pass rusher out of Texas, but no, Campbell there. You put in the middle and you don't even think about it twice. He'll be there for a long time.
And at number 20, you have your boys. Go ahead, Ainge.
Yeah, that my Broncos picking Omarion Hampton. He can pass catch. Obviously, that the concerns are just because we are overthinking some stuff about in the draft process, which tends to happen. He can catch the ball just fine. He's a workhorse. 5'11", 220, right? Like he's a big physical guy. And going to a team that had zero run game, I think Sean Payton can use him in ways that he hasn't used before, as far as like in the screen game or how he's even used in the run game. And obviously in tandem with the run game, Sean Payton's never had a true workhorse. He always puts up all these touches. So I think there's still a chance they might draft another running back in this draft class. But yeah, Hampton here falls to them. I think they run the board, just start figuring out ways to get the ball in this hand, because this guy's a bruiser.
Yeah, I don't love the wide receiver class in this draft, and so I need them to take a wide receiver so badly, but not here, because I don't think anyone is here for that pick. I'd much rather take a running back, whether it's Omarion Hampton or someone else. Here, I love the pick. I think him, Evan Ingram, and a second-round wide receiver, and it's pretty exciting for a team that is a good to great offense away from being a serious contender in the AFC because of what that defense is doing. I love the pick. Next is one of your draft darlings. Go ahead and talk about the Steelers drafting Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant. You know, they have Benton there at nose tackle. Been there for a couple of years. Hasn't really progressed in the way that they would like. Grant is a disruptor up the middle. Look, Hayward's just getting older. He's 36 years old. They lost Larry Oganabi or whatever his name. I keep forgetting how to say the guy's last name. But they need another new young pass rush, a young interior presence. And I think he'll fit the Steeler way. Tough guy, goes to a tough playoff football team. So yeah, I think easy pick.
Yeah, future Aaron Rodgers teammate. I think we'll see.
Yeah.
It is April 2nd, and we're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision.
We'll probably wait till June 3rd or 4th.
Let's round out here the 20 through 25. You got 21 through 25. Kenneth Grant to the Steelers, which seems like just a culture fit there. James Pearce to the Chargers. Shamar Stewart to the Packers because they love them. A physical freak project defensive end there in Green Bay. Walter Nolen, defensive interior lineman to the Vikings. The Texans take a tackle because if they take anything other than a tackle, they should be shot. You need to take a tackle. You need some lineman here.
Shot at the draft.
On site.
The representatives are shot. Yeah.
Go ahead and take James Pearce to the Chargers.
Yeah, I would pick Colston Loveland because obviously the Michigan ties, but Khalil Mack is 36 or 35 years old. You just lost Bosa. You don't want to risk passing up a good pass rusher when they just kind of fall to you here. So I think it's easy. I'd rather have a good pass rusher than a good tight end. I'll tell you that 10 times out of 10. You take you take a good tight end. I'll take the best pass rusher and I'll win 10 times out of 10. I just think that's a better position. Yeah. It's more impactful. So Pearce here.
Yeah, I think that's what Harbaugh wants to do. We want to have good defensive lines, a strong defense. Obviously, think about what he did in San Francisco back in the day and what he's already doing there in LA. Let's move on to Shamar Stewart to the Packers. I said it before. Packers love them defensive linemen who could be great one day. Value picks, if you will.
In 4 years.
Sometimes gets them in trouble. But hey, listen, Shamar Stewart is that dude in this year's draft where there's going to be some Packer fans who really set themselves up for heartbreak. Not that he's going to fail, but he's just so impressive. He's going to look like Myles Garrett. And there's going to be Packer fans who talking themselves into thinking, oh, my God, we just drafted Myles Garrett at the, 23rd overall pick. He could be that. I think just athleticism alone, he'll be at least like a Josh Sweat type of production or Dante Fowler type guy. But yeah, I like him here to the Packers. I like them continue to build that defensive line because they don't really have a premier pass rusher. Rashawn Gary's great, has never had double-digit sacks.
Yeah, I've seen some guys. I've seen the PFF guys talk about Stewart, saying a couple years he might be the best pass rusher in this draft class. He just there's so many the variables are high, but when you're picking in the 20s, this is kind of what you're doing. You're kind of just picking who has the most upside in a position of need. So Stewart falls to them. And yeah, there's other guys they could pick. They hate picking wides in the first round. I would love them for them to pick a wide out, but no, I think
take a shot.
There's so much upside that he could just be a pass rusher that you get late in the first round that will be a steal of the draft, and you have the 5th year option, so you have years on him to work with him to to help him develop. So yeah, I think nice pick here.
That's Shamar Stewart at number 24. We have the Vikings taking Walter Nolen, defensive interior lineman. Not a lot of holes there in the Vikings roster in general, but I think continue to stack this defensive line is the way to go for them. I like the pick.
Yeah. You sign Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, but they're older, so start to prep for the future.
Yep.
Yeah, Nolan here. This is a luxury pick because they did a great job in free agency, plugging up a lot of holes. So you just pick best available and just make it work.
Kelvin Banks Jr. to the Texans. I think we're all relieved.
I'm so tired of talking about the Texans freaking O-line.
We're
so tired of it.
Listen, obviously they made the trade. They traded away Larry Tunsil. They got some good picks for him, but still those picks can't protect CJ Stroud from a pass rush. And so you're going to need to find some answers here at offensive line. And so far the moves they've made are not it. I do like Ed Ingram and his potential as a guard, but it's not really like you got to fix that line. Like I think you need pillars on this line still, and you don't have them right now. If they were to start playing today, CJ Stroud might break the sack record. Like they're that bad without Larry Tunsil now. Like they're so bad. So I think you better take an offensive lineman here. I don't care if there was just a run on tackles and guards and centers. I don't care if they're all gone. You just take the best one available because you need guys to play this year and protect CJ Stroud because the clock's ticking. This rookie deal is going to be over before we know it, and you're going to have to pay CJ Stroud.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, their best lineman is Titus Howard, who's been just an average guy. Like that's what you're most scared of. So take a chance in the first round. If Banks turns out to be a very good tackle, then this trade will make so much sense. But if you go wide out, you just prove to me and to most people like you're just an immature team that doesn't really know that doesn't have a good view on what their team needs. They need to tackle right away.
At number 26, the Los Angeles Rams select Donovan Ezeiruaku. I don't know if I said that right. Edge out of Boston College. They obviously have that great young defensive line. You like the idea of them continuing to stack there?
Yeah, I think last year they also a talented pass rusher fell to them late, and they just took it and ran with it. Yeah, you just keep on adding. That Rams defense in a couple years might be the top five freaking unit. Keep adding first round talented pass rushers and talented linemen. It's just a pick that it's a luxury pick. Even though they could go corner, they could go a lot of different areas. I think he kind of sits there opposite of Jared Verse and kind of just shines.
Let's get to pick 28 here and then take a look at those last 4 teams because those will be the 4 teams that played in the championship games, the Final Four, if you will, of the NFL, since we are wrapping up March Madness. Gray Zabel to the Baltimore Ravens. You got to make the pick there at 27. It's not in the same, urgency category as the Texans, but in the sense that you need to win a Super Bowl here soon to save the legacy of Lamar Jackson, and you need to continue to throw bodies at that offensive line. You lost Patrick McCarry to an offensive line that already wasn't great. I think you throw Greg Zabel in there. He has great versatility. I think he's kind of a steal here. I think he's kind of fell through the cracks a little bit. I could see Greg Zabel going a lot sooner because because of what he can do. I think he's similar to Josh Simmons, and I like him here to the Ravens.
Yeah. Easy pick. You play left guard, right guard. Has played a little tackle. So yeah, I think you just plug and play, and they've been good too. They're good at drafting linemen. Don't really fit there. Like when they drafted Linderbaum, there was questions about him being in a power run system, but Linderbaum is one of the best centers in the league. So they just draft them, find the right spot for him, and just say that's it, we're done. you have get yourself a good lineman.
You had this Lions pick. Go ahead.
Yeah, Derrick Harmon, defensive tackle, right? I just think that they don't ever want to be like last year. DJ Reed got hurt, and then McNeil has had his injuries. So I think you don't want you. You saw last year when you lose depth, like when your stars leave, your lack of depth really costs you. So let's not lose depth here. Let's not lose positional strength. Their interior linemen are great. I think with just depth here, would be great. I think there's not a pass rusher here that I would like to take right here as far as like on the edge. I think he's a nice pick for them, and they could develop him. So one day when DJ Reed leaves, you can put Harmon in there.
Now we come here to the last 4 picks in the draft. These fan bases are all very excited. 3 of them came really close to going to the Super Bowl. And if you go to the Super Bowl, you obviously think you could win the Super Bowl. And so first up, the Commanders and Bills, 1 game away. And the fact that there's a couple players here who have fallen much farther than we all thought they would. I mean, if this is the way the draft board falls for the Washington Commanders, I think there's only 1 pick you can make here, right?
Yeah.
You take Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State, and that fan base is going to go nuts if you can land him here this late in the draft. And you should go nuts because he's a stud. The professional wide receiver thing is thrown out about him over and over again, and it should be. The guy's a stud. Ohio State has a great track record for pumping out these wide receiver prospects. And, God, all is forgiven with the Deebo Samuel nonsense and the Zach Ertz, the whole 2019 tour that they've been on. Yeah. You bring Emeka Egbuka and some real hype.
Yeah, I think, and then also his comp is he's very comparable to a Ohio State wideout who was a true pro, wasn't a superstar in college named Scary Terry. And then you pair him with him. I think it's a great pick. It also gives you like a leg up on like next year. And then, I mean, Deebo Samuel's only on a 1-year deal, so he signed. So Deebo's there. Deebo leaves next year. You have the first round talent right there to replace these guys. I think it's slam dunk pick. He kind of gifted this, and I'm not putting too much stock into the signing of who's the Michael Gallup. So I think he'll see a lot of play time, and he'll add to this team that was pretty close to. I mean, they got blown out by Philadelphia, but they had a nice run. I think a few more pieces away, something could happen. So, yeah.
Let's go to pick number 30 here, the Buffalo Bills. This was, I believe, your pick, and you had them taking Darius Alexander, defensive lineman out of Toledo. I've heard a lot of people recently talk about Darius Alexander possibly flying up the board because I think he's a Milton Williams type. I think he's one of those defensive interior linemen who could also give you some pass rush. Could play one of a couple different positions there, maybe even at some point in a jumbo package, put him out wide as a defensive end. Darius Alexander to the Bills. It just makes sense.
Yeah, they like stacking. They like having a lot of depth at that D line on edge and on the interior. So great pick, value pick. Out of that already. Now that defense started to reboot as far as youth. So this is a nice guy to add to that youth movement there. So I like it.
With the 31st overall pick, the defending AFC champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, are taking someone that I think has fallen nicely to them. They lost Justin Reed, and I think they go and take the physical freak Nick Emmanwori out of South Carolina. He is a safety, and I think he's a day 1 starter for them. I think it's a great fit. That's obviously not a huge need for them, but I think he's just too good for them to pass up here. I think he's a plug and play. Spags coaches him up, and he's one of the great safeties they've had there in Kansas City the last couple years. Nick Emmanwori to the Chiefs.
Yeah, solid pick. I like the fit. Obviously, Justin Reed leaves to New Orleans, so we'll never see him again. Replace him with the first round pick. Yeah.
Yep.
I like the fit, and obviously Spags knows what to do with defensive backs. Before Justin Reed got to the Chiefs, he was just an average safety. And he turned out to be a very, very good safety under Spags. So Spags knows how to make these guys to, be better than what they actually are. So yeah, nice fit.
I'll let you go to announce this last pick. Yeah, as an Eagle fan, I am ecstatic who fell to them here, but it wasn't my pick. This is your pick, so go ahead.
Yeah, it was interesting stuff because you would think Luther Burton is sitting here, and you're like, oh man, him as a 3 to AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. But then you're like, you've heard all summer or for the last month and a half, really, how they're looking to trade Dallas Goedert. And if it were to happen, and this guy were to fall to them, they would be even more incentivized to trade Dallas Goedert with Colston Loveland sitting here from out of Michigan, tight end, phenomenal talent, phenomenal fit. Because once upon a time, this team drafted a tight end when they already had prime Zach Ertz. So like this is not a weird thing to happen. This team's done it before. Colston Loveland will give them the ability to then maybe day 2 in the draft. Let's get back in the second round, draft another guy, and trade Dallas Goedert in that package to move up in the second round, or one of those deals where you can. It's a nice trade to have where you already have his replacement drafted. So it's just a nice fit.
I mean, if he's not traded by draft day, and this is how the board falls to them, where they have Colston Loveland sitting there, I think whatever trades Howie Roseman has sitting there for Dallas Goedert, he just calls the best one up available and says, "Okay, let's do it. I have his replacement right here," and it's the cleanest switch that they have made in a long time. But let me remind you, the Eagles drafted Dallas Goedert when Zach Ertz was still on the team.
Yeah,
and so it's not whether or not they trade him this year. They could just go ahead and keep Dallas Goedert, have this guy play together for a year, move off of Dallas Goedert next year, and you have this guy ready to go, knowing the offense and knowing Jalen Hurts and ready to plug in and keep this thing going for the Eagles. I'm ecstatic if the Eagles land Colston Loveland here at number 32, and I think the NFL would be pretty upset.
And you do that thing that we do every year where it's like, how did the Eagles land that guy? Like it was when like Nolan Smith fell to them late in the first round. Like, how did they get Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter? Like they just happened. Guys follow them because they're the Eagles, and that's how it works. But in this scenario, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm psyched out.
Yeah, that's our mock draft 1.0 this year.
1.0.
You see it on the screen here. Listen, I'm pretty pumped about it. I think it's a pretty solid draft. But as I've seen already, y'all have some strong opinions on mock drafts. And so let us know what you think about this. I think it's pretty solid. Angel, what's your favorite pick?
Well, I'm going to be biased here. Omarion Hampton to the Denver Broncos.
Hey, man, that's a great pick, yeah.
Hey, look, it's a Bronco team that got in the playoffs and lost because they didn't have enough weapons. They got blown out by the Buffalo Bills, and they just couldn't keep up. They've addressed defense already, so let's get heavy offense, Omarion Hampton. And then I'll see Tyler Warren just for the next – I'm not big on Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, but Tyler Warren for the next Colts quarterback in next year. We'll see maybe Arch Manning follows his uncle's footsteps or dad's. Is Arch Manning whose son is that? Is that Cooper's son?
I think it is Cooper's son. Yeah.
Oh, so it's just Uncle Peyton follows Uncle Peyton's footsteps and goes to Indianapolis maybe next year.
That'd be awesome.
We'll see. Yeah, there's a couple guys. I mean, obviously, the sexy one is Ashton Jeanty, 6 overall, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I think a fantasy darling, so that would push his popularity to another level. And with Pete Carroll there, just the identity it would be, I think that'd be a slam dunk. One more thing before we go today, I want to get your reaction on something. Jerry Jones was back in the media today or yesterday with just an all-time Jerry Jones moment when speaking about David Mulligetta, which is one of the most well-known agents in the NFL in sports. Jerry Jones basically said, "I don't know this guy's name. It's trying to just downplay the role that this agent will play in the negotiation for Micah Parsons' extension. That's obviously going to be coming up here. It's going to be very expensive, especially since Jerry Jones is probably going to wait it out for some reason. But when you first heard this, is it just another eye roll at Jerry Jones? At this point, are we not even reacting to this stuff?
He's made absolute insane comments become normal. This is Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones. He just says whatever's on his mind, even though it's not right. It's not what's it called, business savvy. Even you lose, it's just a bunch of stuff, and it just doesn't make sense. But it's just he said so much stupid shit that now it's just normal. We've normalized him saying dumb stuff because he's Jerry Jones. Yeah.
Michael Parsons responded. He said facts after Clarence Hill came to the defense of David Mulligetta. Michael Parsons says facts. David is the best, and I will not be doing any deal without David Malagueta involved. Like anyone with good sense, I hired experts for a reason. There's no one I trust more when it comes to negotiating contracts than David. There will be no backdoors in this contract negotiation. And so negotiations are going great.
So begins the freaking. This is gonna go on for a while, and it's gonna be glorious because I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I just watch back with just wonder, like, wow, a lot of idiots, a lot of talking heads, a lot, because Jerry Jones talks as much as Michael Parsons, and he doesn't even have a podcast, and Michael Parsons goes on there 3 times a week and just says, yeah, what a pairing, Jerry Jones, Michael Parsons. That might be the best pairing in NFL history.
I mean, you just look at the NFL and look, like, the only other owner moment that came from the coaches meetings was the Cleveland Browns owner basically taking ownership for like Haslam. It's Haslam taking ownership. Not the owner, but whatever, the executive. I forgot who he was, but he's not the GM. But taking ownership for the Deshaun Watson thing.
Yeah, which is nice.
Like, that's the only other. Yeah, that's the only other owner thing you saw, which is cool. He was protecting his coach, protecting his GM, Andrew Berry, and then that's all you heard. And then he left it alone. Other than that, you didn't hear from the owners, except for Jerry Jones out here getting in. I mean, just super disrespectful to a guy you're not only going to have to deal with in the Michael Parsons negotiation, but if you're going to ever have if you plan on having good guys on your roster going forward, you're going to see him again. And you're
also in that frigid tapping period, you talk to agents directly. You don't talk to players. So Dave Malagueta represents a lot of players. So like Jerry calls him, hey, next year, hey, if you want this guy. No, last year you said you didn't need me for this contract. So I don't think we need you for this contract. It's just getting bad. And we can't stop it. They can't stop it. The Dallas Cowboys can't stop it. It's just, we're going to sit back. Yeah. As a non-Cowboy fan, it's hilarious. As a Cowboy fan, I just wish you the best.
I feel for him.
Patience.
Yeah,
I feel bad. Honestly, they used to be one of the most annoying fan bases. Now you just feel like fan bases in the NFL, but now you just feel like, I'm sorry, man. Yeah. Sorry, you have to deal with Jerry Jones. I'm sorry.
Well, I think a lot of them have accepted, like, oh, we're in trouble with Jerry Jones. As long as Jerry Jones is around, we're in real trouble here. And they're right. They are, because of stuff like this. Like, there's just no negotiation value to do this. No. And like do it at this moment. It's just but there's no one in the NFL that could do this job as well as him, apparently. So
no, Joe. And if you think different, then you're just wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up from coaches' meetings or anything like that?
No, just the tush push bullshit that needs to be stopped. I mean, I don't understand. It's like, and I told you this off here. It's a team that does one thing well. That's like Peyton Manning in his prime, because before that, we never saw a quarterback audible so much at the offensive line. And then that's like in that time of year saying, you know what, Peyton Manning, you can't audible no more because you're too good at it. Like, it leads to no injuries, the tush push, but Peyton Manning's audibles, I'm sure that's a lot of injuries. That's fine. It just doesn't make sense. It just, honestly, it's just like, it just screams like, it's just so like weak-handed, petty bullshit. That's what it is. Especially from the Bills, from McDermott,
the guy who runs it the second most in the NFL. So just to inform people where this is at right now, they needed all but 8 votes, or they needed if 8 people opposed it, it wasn't going to get passed. It was split right down the middle at 16-16, and they're going to revisit it. What people need to understand is that, well, what if we come back and it's 16 or 15-17? That's still not good enough. They need less than 8 owners, 8 coaches to vote for it to be passed. So they basically need to flip 9 more coaches to make this pass when they revisit it. I think in the end of May or something like that. I don't think that will happen. I think everyone's pretty much made up their mind here. A lot of them have vocalized it. I'm an Eagle fan, so I don't want to seem too biased. It's weak. It's petty. I mean, it's hilarious, the people who are bringing it up. You have Sean McVay, one of the most innovative minds in the NFL. Just because you didn't come up with something that's finally working, Sean McVay, you piece of shit. Now you're up here. Now you're up here speaking against it. No, he was for it. No, false. He's speaking against it. He hates it. He doesn't think he says it's aesthetically not pleasing. It's not a football play. It's an ugly play. It's not good to look at. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm telling you.
No. I think you're getting your head coach mixed up.
Nope, I'm not. Sean McVay is against it, 100%.
The Rams guy.
Yes.
Joey. Okay, maybe I just heard it wrong. I heard
Let me look it up.
Way,
I can check. We do have Twitter.
No, but either way, you're right though. I don't see it doesn't cause injury, and it's happened before. We see plays all the time. Running backs, go to the outside, get stopped, and linemen come behind them and push them in their 4, 5, 6 yards, and that's okay. But like a tush push where it's like a QB sneak, it's just I don't know. It just screams petty, and I don't like to see these head coaches petty like this. It's just dumb.
Thomas Never allowed the NFL
Man,
never allowed tush push to be in the first place. It doesn't look like football to me. Shut the hell up, Sean.
What is football? What is football? Look, man, if it's in the rules, if it's within the rules, then it's within the rules. That's it. Football can look a different way. Football didn't look the same 20 years ago, Sean. Football changes. It adapts. It's just so stupid.
And that's not even the most egregious ones. You talk about McDermott, who they run at the second most, and then you have the Packers, who the one who proposed the actual rule change. They proposed it, and it's not a coincidence that the one time Jordan Love tried to run this is the last time they ran it. He looked like a damn fool, kind of fell off to the side, couldn't run a sneak to save his life. They ran it with Tucker Kraft the rest of the year. It's stupid. I hope this is the last time we hear about it, because I just don't know how you ban it. I don't know what the NFL can do. There's no data to prove it's harmful. Like, what is your reason other than that one team's just too good at it?
Yeah, that's literally but they mask it as it's not aesthetically pleasing. Bro, fullback dives happen. Those aren't pleasing either. Like regular QB sneaks aren't even exciting either. Like just regular QB sneaks, like when they don't push lag in the back. There's some places in football that are just ugly. They're not meant to be beautiful.
Is it not perfect though that it's the Eagles, it's Nick Sirianni, it's after a Super Bowl where they're not getting the respect that a Chiefs would get. They're not getting, they're not getting that kind of no one's going to Andy Reid's unique play calls like this. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's like, oh, too much emotion. It looks too much like the AFL. Tell Andy Reid he needs to stop. No one's going to do it to Andy Reid. But it's Nick Sirianni. It's the Eagles, which, listen, Nick talks a lot of shit. So maybe he brought it on himself. But I think that it's perfect. Eagle fans are eating it up because this is what they want. This is what they already believe, that everyone's against them. Nobody likes us. We don't care, that whole mantra. And so I think in that sense, it's perfect. But after May, I don't want to hear of it anymore.
Yeah, but we'll hear about it for the next 2 years until the CBA comes out. And we'll talk about it in the CBA, and that's when it'll be finally decided upon.
Hopefully. We'll continue to watch Aaron Rodgers. Not sure what he's doing. I don't even want to freaking talk about it. I'm so sick of it. Just go play quarterback for the Steelers. At this point, if you go and have the throwing session with DK Metcalf and you're not the Steelers quarterback, and I defended the guy. You're just being an ass. You're just being an ass.
That's a douchebag move. Like if you just tease, he's like, oh, our new wideout is practicing with our potential quarterback. This is awesome. We're getting a head start on the season. And if he said, I'm gonna retire. Like, why did you? I'm so tired. I'm done. I'm done talking about it. I'm done for this show at least.
And the other side of the coin, Mike Tomlin. I don't want to hear any more about how much you believe in Mason Rudolph. No one believes you. The fan base will be incredibly depressed if Mason Rudolph's your guy going into the year next year. But that's all we have for today's show, Mock Draft 1.0, plus a little bit around the coaches meeting. Good times, Angel. We're going to do that again with more guys here from the show. Once again, April 24th, live stream during the first round of the NFL draft. Join us for that. We'll see you then. Bye.
Peace.